2, 1, let's begin. Guys, are you confused by English? Is English one big fat mystery to you? Well, if it is, don't worry. I'm Teacher Paul, and I'm here to help you solve those mysteries here on Hardboiled English Live. Okay, guys, welcome to the show. I'm Teacher Paul from Hardboiled English and English Weirdness. We have a very special show tonight, and I'm going to introduce you a very special guest, and we'll have a nice discussion with him. Before that, I have a couple of special announcements to make. Next Friday on YouTube, I'm going to finally release episode number 9 of English Weirdness. English Weirdness. Episode number 9 of English Weirdness. This is the poster for it, episode 9, on Friday, 25th of September. The day before that, September 24th, we're going to have another one of these live shows. Hopefully, we'll have less technical difficulties then. You should be able to hear me. You should be able to see me on both Facebook and YouTube. I appreciate your patience. We're still working this out. But anyways, on that show, we'll go back to our normal Q&A format right here on Hardboiled English Live. Okay? Now, I'd like to... Okay, so I'm getting the message that you can't hear me on YouTube. Well, here's some advice. Get off YouTube. Go over to Facebook where you can hear me and stay there. Watch the show on Facebook. If there's problems with YouTube, we'll work those out later. I want you to be able to hear this show. This show in particular is important because we're going to focus on spoken English. I have a very special guest today, and I'd like to tell you about a very innovative and amazing school in Toronto called On the Spot Language. Here's a little intro video about that school. Okay, and without further delay, hopefully, I would like now to introduce the man behind this amazing school, On the Spot Language. His name is Anish Daya, and he's joining us here live from Toronto.
Hey everyone, this is Anish from On the Spot Language. Hello, Teacher Paul and all of our fans out there. Super excited to be here, and this is going to be so much fun.
Thanks for joining me, Anish. Sorry about the delay with the technology here. We're still working through this.
All good.
You know, we're teachers, not technicians, so these things are bound to happen.
Exactly.
But we are getting them ironed out. I've contacted a high-tech squad of experts to come and fix this, including Mark Kim, who's here somewhere. Maybe Mark can have a look at this and tell me what's going on, because everything seems fine. Okay, Anish, tell me a little bit about, for the people out there who don't know you, just tell us a little bit about yourself personally first, and then we'll get into On the Spot.
Absolutely. So where to begin? Oh my goodness.
Who are you?
Yeah, so my name is Anish Daya, and I've been in adult ESL for about 18 years now. Started in 2002. I have a background in multimedia design. I was a tennis professional for a couple years. I lived abroad and also studied and taught English abroad in Taiwan. 还有现在我会讲国语，如果我有别的学生他们是台湾来的，我可以跟你们说话了。
Very nice.
And then I worked at a private language school in Toronto for about 5 years. And then in 2009, I really came to the realization, like, how do students really learn English and spoken English when living and studying abroad? Well, they learn it by using it and getting outside and talking to strangers and connecting with people and learning intonation and body language and fluency and just in real life situations. So
Yeah.
on the spot language was born, and we take students outside almost every day in our 8-week program. And in almost 8 weeks, they talk to almost 1,000 strangers on the streets of Toronto. And all those interactions and have just been amazing over the years. We've had over 40,000 conversations with strangers on the streets of Toronto. And with COVID-19, we've been a little bit more indoors now, given some challenges with that. But
Sure.
we're still able to meet and do a lot of really effective language coaching online. And there's still effective ways and methods to be effective English language learners in this kind of setting. So, and I'm super excited to connect and meet new people, especially innovators and passionate educators like you, Paul, who
Thank you.
believe in not just, I'm just another teacher talking. You know what? Let's get our students involved. Let's hear from them how they want to use their English and show our students functionally asking questions and being curious. So thank you for giving me this platform to be here with you.
I have a question for you, Anish. When you say you take your students out into the city, can you tell us about an example of how you might do that? What's an example of getting your students out into the city to practice their English?
Yeah, even there's so many different contexts and situations, whether we're in the supermarket or, we go to a shopping mall or we go to a restaurant or a cafe and practice ordering. I'll give you a really good basic example in on the spot languages, even just asking for directions. People usually just use, Google Maps or they check their cell phone, but they're like, what happens when you ask somebody? So we take our students outside, and with a language coach like myself, we would coach them on sentences on how to start conversations. For example, excuse me, where would I find the nearest bus stop? Or where would I find the nearest station? Is there one around here? Oh yeah, just head straight and hang a left. Anish, what does head straight and hang a left mean? Well, head means go, and hang means turn. They're like, oh. And, they asked 30, 40 other people that same question. Guaranteed someone's going to say head or hang in a few times. So their listening suddenly improves, but they're also gaining confidence. And that's just simply asking for directions. And then we build on that. Like, how long does it take to get there? Is it walking distance? Then they arrive at our meeting location, and then they'll say, well, is this building named after anyone? So they're learning the history behind the building and the city. And that's part of languages, is connecting with where you are living and what cultural components you can learn with that, which will make you a more knowledgeable learner and help you connect with locals.
And so when you're doing these practice exercises, is there a word you call them, these little scenarios?
Yeah, good question. Thank you for asking that. We call them, putting our students on the spot, which is, a spotlight situation.
Yeah.
So we have little spot situations with our students, and in these little spots or situations or contexts, we teach them focus sentences.
Yeah.
And these focus sentences are sentences that are very useful, practical for them, that they can use on a daily basis.
Right.
For the rest of their lives in any English-speaking country that they go to. And we call these focus sentences.
Focus sentence. And when they go out and do this, it sounds like you're kind of close by over their shoulder so they can turn to you with questions.
Absolutely. And thank you for asking that. Part of being a language coach is, usually in most ESL settings or schools, they teach you lots of great sentences. Then the students go outside and they're like, they're deer in headlights. And so part of a coach, not a teacher, is we help role model and guide them to show them how do we do that? It's like, for example, excuse me, where would I find the nearest station? It's like, excuse me, where would I find the nearest station? Is there one around here? So we role model it for them to show them what it looks like. And what do you think, Paul? Do you think they can do it on the first time out?
Usually not. That's why really I'm impressed with the idea of having the coach there, because it's very similar to the way you might learn a sport. When you're learning a sport, you might first watch it on TV, then you might go out on your own where no one's looking and practice it and try to do those LeBron James moves.
Right.
And then you need a coach to say, hey, you're doing that well. You're doing this a little bit wrong. We need to fix that. Try again. And then you're giving them feedback, but you're right there to support them. It sounds like that's exactly what you're doing. And I like that distinction between English teacher and English coach, because it sounds to me like the distinction is clear. The coach is helping the student out in the real world. Do this. Do English. Is that fair to say?
Absolutely. It's not just the motivation we teach them or be acting as a role model, but part of being a coach is also we understand what each one of their goals are, and every student has their own goals that they want to achieve. Maybe it's just, I want to learn a lot of history. I want to connect with a lot of strangers. I want to be able to go shopping every day. Whatever it is, each person, we know what their goals are, and we target the language as well, based on what their goals are, and we guide them through step by step in 8 weeks on how to achieve that goal, so that in the end, they don't need me anymore, or they don't need a language coach anymore.
Yeah.
They now become self-reliant, or we call them autonomous learners.
Yeah.
Which should be the goal. They don't need us anymore.
Yeah. When I studied about teaching as a craft, the so-called academic pedagogy, one of the big theories they talked about was something called scaffolding.
Yes.
And it sounds like this very nebulous term where, okay, scaffolding, like when you're making a building, like a construction scaffold, and then there's work. It had seemed to have no connection to education. But once I became an active teacher, I started using some techniques I thought fit. And what I found was the most effective was something exactly what you're talking about. And then I realized that's what scaffolding is when you give them something, you help them try it out, then you support them as they go to the next level with it. Sounds like that's exactly what you're doing. So any sort of theoretical critic of your innovation is only barking up the wrong tree, because it's very, very pedagogically sound, if that matters, because in a lot of cases it doesn't matter. But your system really is a great example of what scaffolding is supposed to be, but almost never is in language schools.
For sure. Absolutely. And, if you do have like the right teacher that can, impart some of these traits on students, sometimes very rarely you may get that, and they may understand scaffolding or how to apply language coaching techniques in the classroom without even realizing they're a language coach. But yeah, there's a systematic way of how we do things using the on-the-spot language methodology. But there's a lot of, like I said, pedagogy behind, but it's really, we as humans are creatures of routine and habit. And so what we try and do is develop good English learning habits and routines students can use on a daily basis that they can then carry forward with them. Because I think I don't know who said it, but it takes 60 days to learn any new routine.
Right.
If you do it every day.
And a skill is basically a routine that you have refined, right? A skill is a routine, something you can repeat again and again when you need it, whether it's a language skill or a tennis skill.
Yeah, Tony Robbins said routine is the mother of skill, so you got it.
Well, and I think, your background in tennis, I was reminded of this morning. My wife and I went out to play tennis. Well,
nice.
I've got really bad legs, so I didn't actually play tennis. I sat there as a target, and she tried to slam the ball at me as hard as possible, and I just try to save my life. But I've also played a lot of sports in my life, and more than my school teachers, it was my sports coaches that really taught me how to learn things. And as a teacher, as I became a teacher myself, I thought back about how I was taught things, and I didn't remember my math teacher. I didn't remember, well, I remember one English teacher, but I didn't
Right.
remember my academic teachers. I remembered my sports coaches and kind of tried to model my English teaching after some of the things they did that worked on me. Um, my students will tell you one way or the other whether that was effective. That's up to them to notice. But I have always felt a bit more like a coach than a teacher because I like to see them do and use their tools, even if it's a reading or writing tool, which I tend to
Yeah.
focus on. Those are still skills you actually have to physically do. It's one thing to read a sentence in a textbook and understand it. Eventually, you have to produce it. You have to write it on your own. So that's a physical skill. That's brain and hand-eye coordination. And that needs to be developed with the same kind of approach you're talking about, which is routine and physicalizing it. In martial arts, for example, drilling or kata is very important. Repetition until that movement becomes a natural routine or a natural part of your mind-body connection, right? It sounds like this is what you're doing with your school.
That's exactly it. I mean, you like you said, when you compare it to sports, or ichi ni san chi go loku shichi hachi kyuju, or whatever training you're doing, there are steps that you can do from when you talk about fluency or how you approach people, and we have all of these muscles in our body, but a lot of students don't use these muscles, the
Right.
facial muscles. And so that's also another part of routine, is exercising these muscles, and exercising these muscles, and not my nose, but you can, if you get used to using, like, excuse me, where would I find da 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 da, excuse me, where would I find, no, not monotone like that,
Mm-hmm.
but like, where would I find, like, if you exercise that intonation, it's like language is like music, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you can kind of sing that tune, in any language. So when I learn Mandarin, it's very, tonal.
Yeah.
You know, 真的吗?真的吗?da da 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 da. 真
Mm-hmm.
的吗? Like, really? Like, 本当だ。ほんまに? 何それ?
And again, these are physical skills. You're using the lips and the cheeks and the tongue and your diaphragm and your larynx in different ways.
All of it, absolutely.
Right? If you've spent your life playing tennis, but suddenly you want to learn to play basketball, you need to leave your racket at home.
Yeah.
And bring your sneakers and open your muscles in your body to learning new movements. You can't use tennis movements to shoot a basketball. You can't do this. Otherwise, you're going to hit the audience, not the basket. So it's a very similar. There's a lot of analogies and parallels, I think, with sports and language learning. And I think this is lost in education because education tends to look at language learning as a bunch of knowledge that you need to memorize and absorb, rather than a bunch of knowledge you need to use.
Right.
Right?
And
language
we learn by doing. And usually when I do meet students, exactly like you're saying, I usually try and find out something they're good at or something they've practiced over and over. And many of them say, Anish, I know how to piano. I mean, I know how to play the piano, play the piano, play the piano. I'm like, okay, yeah, I know how to play the piano. I go, well, did your teacher just give you a book and say, here? Well, no. How many times did you have to practice those keys and those combinations of keys, right, that go well together?
Mm-hmm.
And then lexicon or language is very similar to that. You figure out these, do you want me to? You want me to? You want me to? Do you mind if I? You mind if I? You mind if I? These little combinations of language or lexicon that we chunk together naturally. We do it, then it becomes subconscious. And so that part of that muscle memory, when you are developing it, just suddenly you don't think about shooting that basketball, or you don't think about the keys when you're playing. It just it's part of your.
Well, I like the analogy between language and piano, because with piano, and I'm not an expert, but I've studied some music, you can learn notes in isolation. you can learn a little melody in isolation, but eventually you have to move and shift back and forth between melody and harmonies and chords. It's the phrasing and those chunks you're talking about. And just like that, with language, we can learn a sentence or a word, but that's not the language. That's not communication. Communication is using that in combination with other words and phrases in a movement that's very musical. It's very musical in structure because you're trying to, with music, you're trying to express an emotional or experience. With language, you're trying to express an idea or an emotion. And so learning shouldn't be done in isolation. It has to be combined.
Absolutely.
I want to turn our attention now, guys, to what you were talking about earlier, Anish, with these focus sentences. And I think we have a friend with us who's going to show us one of these examples of focus sentences. Is that right?
I think he's going to be asking us either a question, a grammar-related question, or he may be using a focus sentence. Either way, we can put him on the spot, I'm sure.
Okay.
Let's give it a shot.
Well, let's bring him in here. Yep, go ahead. Let's bring Daiki with us. 2, 1. Daiki, you're with us. Welcome to the show, Daiki.
Oh,
Hey, there he is, Mr. Beatles.
Mr. Beatles. Yeah, I changed my clothes.
Beatles fan.
Yes, I'm a big fan of the Beatles.
Very nice. So you understand about music too, right?
Oh, yeah?
So Daiki, do you have a question for us or one of these focus sentences that you've learned?
You know what? Before you jump into your question, Daiki,
What?
how about you share one of your favorite focus sentences from On the Spot Language?
Okay. Maybe one of my favorite focus sentences that I learned from On the Spot language is, especially I like to introduce the On the Spot language because like every time I ask questions to strangers, they always ask me like, oh, which school do you go to? And I always say like, I'm an international student studying English with On the Spot language.
Oh, really?
Which is
what
based
is On the Spot language, Daiki?
Sorry?
What is On the Spot language? Yeah.
It is based on experiential language learning program where we go out and talk to nice people like yourself on a daily basis.
I love that. So
Daiki,
On the Spot language, which is an experiential language learning program where we go out and talk to nice people like yourself on a daily basis. Could you please say that again, Daiki?
Okay. On the Spot language is based on experiential language learning where we go out and talk to nice people on a daily basis.
Nice people?
Like yourself.
Daiki, I wonder if you could tell us a little story about one of your on-the-spot experiences that you remember.
Yes.
Give us an example of one of the things that you did, one of these experiential situations that you tried.
Yes, as you may know, like every day we went out and talk to strangers and ask questions. Like at first, we start from easy questions like where would I find nearest station, or you mind if I take a picture with you, something like that. But later we go on to like more deep questions like who would you say is the most famous Canadian, past or present?
And what are some answers that you got? So Paul, just to give context to what Daiki's saying, we have survey day where they have to learn about Canadian culture, and I don't teach them.
Okay.
Who teaches you, Daiki?
All Canadians.
All the strangers on the street,
yeah,
right?
Strangers, yes.
So we have this. One of the questions is, who would you say is the most famous Canadian, past or present? Other than?
Yep.
Other than who?
Other than? Oh, yeah.
Other than
Justin Bieber and Celine Dion.
Other than Justin Bieber and Celine Dion. Because most of the answers we would always get, oh, Justin Bieber, oh, Celine Dion. Or, okay, what are some famous Canadians that you learned about?
I think most famous, most common answer was Justin Trudeau or Pierre Trudeau.
Right, and who is Pierre Trudeau?
Pierre Trudeau is the previous previous Prime Minister of Canada.
And what would you say he is best known for?
He kept Quebec from separating from Canada.
Yeah, so he was a big fan of keeping Canada together, right? Yeah, great, good example.
Yes.
Any other famous Canadians you remember?
They said Wayne
Wayne
Gretzky.
Gretzky. What team did he play for?
Oh,
Sorry to put you.
yeah, he always put me on the spot.
There you go.
Maple Leafs?
No, not the Maple Leafs.
Oh,
Different province in Alberta, city in Alberta. The
Maybe I forgot.
Ed,
Yes.
Edmonton Oilers.
Ah,
Because Alberta is a large producer of
Alberta is a large producer of
oil and natural gas. Right? So
okay.
the Edmonton
Okay.
Oilers. Okay, what's Wayne Gretzky's jersey number?
55. No.
It slipped my mind.
Yeah, it's slipped my mind. Yeah.
I have a question for you, Daiki. When you went to the streets to ask strangers about famous Canadians, were you scared? Weren't you nervous? Like, oh, Canadian strangers, so scary.
No, actually, at first, before asking questions for the first time, I was really nervous. But once I started, like almost all Canadians were really nice and friendly and easy to talk to, so I could easily like ask questions to them.
And what happens if someone wasn't friendly to you? What would you do? Would you go home and cry?
No.
What would you do?
To be honest, I didn't have a bad experience of asking questions on the street. Yeah, even though they refused my question because they were busy or they were doing something like different, but they always say, "Oh, sorry, I don't have a time," something like that. So they are not like cold.
I think one of the good things that you mentioned there is in the beginning it was difficult, and I think you can relate to this, Paul, is students kind of through the program they develop kind of a thick skin.
Yeah.
It's like an outer armor.
Yep.
Like Luffy uses haki, or I don't know, is that right? Luffy uses haki, kind of like shield. They develop this shield that like some students in the beginning, oh, excuse me, where would I find, I don't have time to talk to you. What? Why?
Yeah.
But if you keep hearing that and you're supported by a language coach, you kind of say, that's okay, thanks anyway. And next time.
Anesh, do you prepare these guys with a sort of emergency focus sentence if someone is cold or rude to them? Do you give them something to say? Because it seems to me, if I went out in the street to talk to strangers and there was the possibility somebody might tell me to get lost or don't bother me, I would want something to say because that would give me like the power not to worry about it.
Sure. Like little sentences like, oh, you don't have time? Oh, that's okay. Thanks anyway.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, so then you're a little more prepared. You're less worried maybe about being the cold shoulder. And it may happen because people are busy, especially in a city.
And that's one of my favorite situations when people do reject students.
Yeah.
Or, and sometimes even Daiki, sometimes, oh, you know what, I don't have time. And I would show you guys, I would start walking and talking with them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Actually, to be honest, I was not good at this walking, talking.
Right. And that's a whole new skill. And if you actually start walking and talking with people, Paul, they'll keep talking with you. Yeah. They just got to keep heading in their direction.
And Daiki, I have another question. After you went through this program, did it change your feelings about talking to strangers? Did it change your confidence? For example, did you suddenly feel confident to ask girls out for dates? Or
actually, I have never done before. Actually,
I'm joking.
Yeah, of course, I've improved my confidence through this English program, and before that, I felt very, very shy. As you guys may know, like Japanese people are usually very shy, but now I don't feel shy when compared to before coming to Toronto. So yeah, I think I improved my confidence like very much through this program.
It's great. I'm really happy to hear that. Daiki is the kind of student I imagine, Anish, who flourishes through your program. And I think his skill development probably won't stop after finishing the program. It's just going to keep going exponentially because you've given him the tools not only to learn some knowledge, but how to do something on his own. That seems like a very empowering skill.
Well, I think that's just it, is developing a set of language tools or questions like, oh, you know, asking deep questions, which we do in the program, or asking about people's jobs, or getting students to talk about their jobs. So if somebody suddenly asks Daiki, hey, Daiki, were you working or studying back in Japan?
Oh yeah.
What were you doing?
I used to work as a tour guide and a driver in Kyoto. And Kyoto is a one of the most popular tourist cities in Japan. Yeah.
You worked as a tour guide, right?
Yep.
Very nice. So being able to equip students with these kinds of answers so that they can say it with confidence, like you just did. Well done, Daiki. Awesome. But also ask questions. Questions are the most important thing, because then you can control, right? You can direct the conversation, right?
Yeah. Follow-up question.
And asking lots of follow-up questions. Good, you remembered that.
Well, speaking of that, Anish, how about we ask Daiki to put us on the spot?
Ooh, so what's your question today?
Daiki, do you have a question for us?
So should I ask you a question?
Yeah, go for it.
Oh my gosh, you put me on the spot.
Did you prepare a question?
I put you on the spot. Okay. Okay. What do you like
Is it a grammar question or just a general question?
just a general question. Okay.
Okay.
What do you like the most about living in Canada for you guys?
Oh, what do you like the most about living in Canada? Can you put that question or on the screen there, Paul?
Yeah.
Or maybe on the bottom or
A little
wherever.
tricky.
What do you like? Oh, okay, right. That's okay. So what do you like the most about living in Canada?
Yes.
Or living and working? Or just living? Or
Just
being raised in Canada?
Generally, in
Or
general.
being born in Canada? Oh, what do you like the most about living in Canada? Well, it might be a different answer depending on East Coast where Paul is. I mean, where we are, Daiki, and then West Coast where Paul is. But we'll start with you, Paul.
Well, I've lived my whole life here, except for a few instances abroad. I grew up in Toronto area, actually Oakville, Ontario. And I've lived in the West Coast for basically half my life. I've been here since 1990 or early 90s. But I think there's one thing across Canada, I think, that I like most about Canada. And that's quite simply multiculturalism. I love the fact that I grew up and appreciate the fact that I grew up having friends whose families, at least, even if they themselves were born in Canada, their families came from other countries and cultures. So, for example, even in elementary school, even in kindergarten, we had show and tell days where friends would bring in cultural artifacts or culture things and explain to the class. Or we would share our foods, different foods from different cultures. And of course, by the time I was in high school, it was even more intense, much more multicultural. And multiculturalism is a little different as you go across the country. There's different culture groups that are larger, that are represented in larger amounts. For example, on the West Coast, there's about, I think the number is 60% of Asian descended people, or maybe it's 40%, I'm not sure the number. A lot of Asian descended people live in the West Coast. And not all of them are recent immigrants, though some are. For example, the Chinese community has been on the West Coast for over 200 years. They built the railroads. So they've actually been here longer than my ancestors. So I love this because we learn about other cultures, we learn about other languages from childhood. And I think it really forms a nice sense of mutual respect, global awareness, that I really appreciate. I really like that. I like that I've been allowed to learn this, rather than living in a monoculture where there's one culture, which of course has nice points too. But I think Canada is a very special country in the whole world. And I think the thing that makes us number one in one thing is multiculturalism. I think there's no other country in the world that has the level of multiculturalism and the success in multiculturalism that we do. So that's my choice. How about you, Anish?
Wow. I think, Daiki, have you heard that kind of answer before? Or a similar answer?
Yeah, somebody said the similar answer, like they like multicultural, and I really agree with their ideas. Yep.
What are your thoughts, Daiki, before I give my answer? How do you like Toronto so far? How do you like Canada?
Yeah, especially I really like the people in Canada. As I said, people are really warm and friendly and very easy to talk to. And yeah, and also I really like the diversity, especially in Toronto. Toronto is a very diverse city, especially in Canada. So yeah, I really like living in Toronto. That's why I extended my stay in Canada.
Nice.
Yep.
And just on it, before I answer, how about sharing one thing you don't like so much about Toronto? We won't say Canada.
Okay, Toronto. Yeah, I mostly like everything about Toronto, but one of the things I hate in Toronto is cleanliness.
Cleanliness.
Cleanliness, yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Like usually public washrooms are very dirty and filthy. So
Filthy,
yeah,
yeah.
filthy, yeah. But in Japan, usually public washrooms are always like clean and yeah, very like easy to use. But here, especially at subway stations, yeah, I usually avoid using washrooms.
I'd like to tell you guys a little revealing secret about the West Coast. In Vancouver, we don't have a subway. We have an above rail SkyTrain. And the SkyTrain stations don't even have, we don't have public washrooms.
Oh,
So
Probably best, yeah.
if you have a long train trip, you know, you have to calculate your washroom visits because there's no washrooms until you get home.
yeah, Toronto also several stations don't have washrooms, like only main stations.
Yeah, the main stations have washrooms, and even the main stations, the washrooms are chotto.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah. But that's a great point. And sometimes not everything is always perfect in every country. So it's also nice sometimes to be able to share what maybe you don't like so much and be able to share those opinions. So thanks for
Absolutely.
mentioning that. And Robin just said the snow. So thank you for saying that, Robin. That's a great comment. And in Japan, you also have a lot of snow, especially in Hokkaido. In the
yes.
northern
Actually, I've never been to Hokkaido before, but
Nagano and
Well, I'd have to agree with that, guys. In fact, if you ask me what the one thing I dislike about Canada the most, it is the snow and the cold weather, which is actually why I moved to the West Coast. Because here in the winter, it doesn't really snow. It just rains endlessly. But I like rain more than snow. I don't ski or snowboard. So for me, the snow is kind of useless.
How did you enjoy the snow last year, Daiki?
last year, yeah, actually last year was not as cold as I expected. And yeah, but sometimes we had snow, but actually I didn't do any snow activity. So
Right.
yeah, hopefully next year after coronavirus settle down.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Good. Cool. And I kind of one of my dreams, Paul, was always to move out to the West Coast. So, a little envious because I kind of grew up in, I don't know if you can consider it central Canada because I think central Canada is more Manitoba, Ontario, but I kind of when I think of Saskatchewan, the prairies, which is where I'm from in Canada, the winters would be very, very bad, harsh, very cold winters. And but we would drive out west every year and enjoy the beautiful snow in BC, which was nice because Saskatchewan's very
flat.
like you fill in the blank. Come on. Yeah, exactly. It's very flat. But what's Saskatchewan best known for, Daiki?
It's a large producer of wheat, right?
Yeah, it's one of the largest producers of wheat or mugi. In Japanese in the world, right? Exactly. Okay, so I'm going to get to my answer. And students always ask me this, and I really like food. And so I really like that you can get authentic foods from all over the world. So if you want really good Thai food or Jamaican food or Hungarian food or Polish food or even Chinese or even Taiwanese food, you can get really good 牛肉面，那么好吃。真的本当だ美味しいね。めっちゃ美味しいです。The Taiwanese beef noodle soup. And if you want good Korean food, it's just, every block you can get really good, authentic foods. And so that's a good plus that you can't really get in many countries. Maybe New York is an exception.
But I think you're onto something. I think we still beat New York in terms of the variety. There's still more choices here. We don't have as much of everything. Right. But New York also has very focused neighborhoods.
Good point. Yeah, focused neighborhood. Right, continue.
And by the way, how does New York compare to Canada's Indian food community? It's pretty exceptional out here on the West Coast.
True. One thing I am jealous, which both Paul and Daiki will understand, is New York has a Yoshinoya.
Oh.
Vancouver has one too.
I know it's kind of like 24/7 kind of junk food, in Japan, but gyudon wa hontou oishii.
Well, just to make you feel worse, Anish, we have one here in Vancouver.
What?
Actually, Vancouver was the first area in Canada, because of our large Japanese influence, to have izakaya. We have lots of izakaya here, lots of ramen. And
ramen ario desho?
Yeah.
We have a lot of ramen. Oh, Mr. Kim said Vancouver. Sorry, just noticing that. But yeah, lots of good ramen shops in Toronto, in Vancouver, but no Yoshinoya yet.
Yeah. And we have great Korean food in Vancouver too. Mr. Kim can attest to that.
Yeah, we got some good samgyeopsal and bibimbap and bulgogi and kamjatang.
So Anish, what do you dislike about Canada?
I would say, Paul's putting me on the spot now, Daiki. Come on. Okay. I would say I don't like that a lot of people confuse us and our country and our values with Americans. And I love you all Americans out there. But people are like, "Oh, are you from America or the US?" And I go, "No, I'm from Canada, but you sound like an American." I go, "Oh, okay. Well, there are some parts in America, like New York, or some areas that have maybe a similar accent to us. But I think one of the things I don't like is when I'm confused with a country that a lot of countries have a negative viewpoint on, or don't have the greatest outlook on, at least right now. But it kind of hits a little nerve. It's like, are you American? I actually, when I was traveling in Thailand, one of my American friends who was with me, he had a Canada flag on his backpack. Because he didn't want people to buy, "Oh, you American?" Because more people were friendlier, believe it or not, to people who had a Canada flag on their backpack. So that's a little bit more maybe political or whatever, but I'm kind of proud of being from Canada and what we stand for and our values. And not that Canada is perfect, because we have a huge bad history in the past with, Paul mentioned, all the Chinese who built the railroad for Sir John A. Macdonald, and how thousands of them also died doing that, and how they were charged a head tax, and many Japanese were put in internment camps. So there's a lot of bad parts of our history and our past as well. So I understand we're not perfect. You can just blame colonialism on everything. Yep. No, joking. But yeah, so that's maybe my impartial political answer. I don't know.
Well, it's something that comes up, Anish, especially in our world, because we're English teachers, and none of us, certainly none of us want to go back to colonialism, or and most of us can sympathize with those who were subject to colonialism. But in the aftermath of colonialism, we're left with one gift that I think is positive, and that's the English language. The fact that English is spoken around the world is the remnants of British colonialism. And it's not necessarily the best language in the world, but it's out there, it's left behind, and we've been able to use it, in my opinion, to make a more peaceful world, because it's given us the ability to communicate with each other. If we didn't have that, we'd be miscommunicating and talking English weirdness at the highest levels. A lot of mistakes in history were made by leaders not understanding each other. So I think that's, one positive remnant of colonialism. The rest we can put in the past. But, we're English educators, so we need to take advantage of that aspect. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here having this conversation.
You're right. We wouldn't be here, and we wouldn't have Daiki to join us in this this conversation. So thank you for being here and studying abroad and coming to Toronto and studying with On the Spot Language. And just maybe to add to that point, I don't know if it adds to it, but part of, and we're not going to get into the whole colonialization and some of the aftermath of that, but also a lot of cultures, like a lot of indigenous cultures, were actually, through residential schools, their language was taken, their culture was taken from them as well. And I think it's just an important part to just mention that, because it did bring this, but a lot of people were kind of forced.
Absolutely.
And the children were forced to learn English, and that was part of cultural genocide. And but we
have to acknowledge that, and we have to
absolutely,
we have to actively, politically, at the political level and on the personal level, we have to address that, and we can do it by showing respect for those peoples now, and respect for their culture, and support their efforts to maybe bring their languages back.
Absolutely.
At the same time, having a mutual language that we can share. We don't want to lose these cultures that have legitimately been oppressed by British imperialism, but also English language. Let's face it.
Yeah. Thanks for mentioning that, Paul. I appreciate you adding to that. And it's interesting, maybe in Japan with the Ainu in Ryukyu, in the northern and Hokkaido, in Ryukyu and Okinawa, some of those cultures, Okinawa was kind of still strong because it's so far from Kyushu in the mainland.
Yes, I think they have their kind of their own culture. To be honest, I've never been to Okinawa either.
But a lot of people in maybe Ainu or the Hokkaido area who were Ainu, that culture traditions are kind of a little bit lost slowly.
Yeah, I think so.
Other than some, matsuris or winter festivals or something that they have.
Yeah, I guess so.
Does Daiki have a question about language?
Do you have a language question, or what's a common grammar question that really drives you crazy, Daiki?
Drive me crazy. Actually, today I prepared several questions. Like, what's the difference between 2 words or 3 words? So, for example, I say the meaning is very similar. For example, I still don't know the difference between include and contain. Include and contain. So, yeah.
Okay.
I'd like to know.
That's a very good question.
Good question. So what's the difference between include and contain?
Yep. Yes.
Cool. Who wants to start here? Well, can you think of some examples that you would use include?
Yeah, I guess, like, for example, I think this paper you gave us. It's an idiom. Yes.
Some idioms, okay, yeah.
Paper includes 40 idioms. Is it correct?
Okay, so the question here, Paul, is all of these idioms, all of these sheets of paper include idioms, right? You're asking, do they include idioms or do they contain?
I think include is
great question. Want me to address it a little bit?
Sure, absolutely. And we'll make some sentences after with it.
Yeah, and this is a great this is a great example of one of the problems with English, because maybe not a problem, but maybe an important feature, because, and maybe what Daiki's encountering as his English gets more and more advanced is that sometimes there's two words that seem pretty similar.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they're different. And one of the truths about English, we kind of lie to beginners sometimes. We say synonyms are two words that are different, but they mean the same thing. Well, the truth is, if we have two words, they don't mean the same thing. There's a slight difference. But sometimes the difference is so hard to see when you're beginning. And this is an example of that, I think. And you're noticing it, which is fantastic. I would say this: when something is contained, it has to be inside a container. So, for example, this cup contains water. Right? The cup is not the water, and the water is not the cup. The cup is holding the water. Or this glass dish contains rice. It's this thing in my hand is a dish and rice, two separate things. But because this has like a border, it has a little walls, it can hold something. It contains something. Just like this room I'm in contains me and my computer and my camera. We're inside this thing. The word include works a little bit differently. When something is included, it becomes part of it. So, for example, the document includes, what did you say? The document, the paper includes
a sheet of idioms.
Yeah, now that sheet and those idioms are one thing, right? And the other thing about include is it doesn't have to be in a container. And that allows us to include things, for example, not just in physical objects, but how about non-physical objects like ideas or theories or abstract concepts? For example, success might include lots of money. Success, is success a container? No, success isn't even physical. It's an abstract idea that comes from human imagination. But inside our idea of success can include other things. Maybe it includes money, maybe it doesn't. Maybe it includes love, maybe it includes passion for your creativity. It can include other things, but it can't contain them because it doesn't have walls or physical space. So include, there might be sort of overlap. Venn diagram, two circles and a little bit shared in the middle. There might seem to be a little bit of overlap between include and contain. But really, once something is included, it becomes part of that thing, right? For example, this show we're doing right now doesn't contain you, even though it looks like on screen we're contained. It includes you because you're part of the show now, right? And by the way, any three of us is free to walk out of the show right now. We are not stuck inside this thing. We are part of it, right? That's how I would define it.
And Paul is also making us feel. Paul is making us feel very included, right? Part of something else, right?
Yeah.
Maybe if this is his show, but also, do you feel included, Daiki, or do you feel excluded, left out? Are we also talking to you, Daiki?
Yeah, I feel included.
Yeah, you're part of this overall thing.
Nice.
So in the future, we might look back at this show or watch the video version. We might say that show included Anish, it included Daiki, and included Paul. They were all part of it. It included our audience and their comments. It included text on the screen. All of these were part of it. None of them are contained in it, right? They could leave any time. And by the way, this is not even a physical thing. It's a virtual digital thing. It can't really contain anything.
And a lot of people even say Canada is a very inclusive country. For example, where on-the-spot language is located, the Center for Social Innovation, it's a very
inclusive
community.
Mm-hmm.
Which means what?
Like like this image.
Do we like to exclude? You can't come here because you are this race. You can't come here because you are this gender. You can't, or
Very acceptable.
yeah, we're welcoming and we accept
Mm.
other people regardless of your age, background, gender, sexuality. So we are the community is very
Inclusive community. Inclusive.
yeah, it's an inclusive community.
community.
And at the same time, guys, it's also true that on-the-spot language school is in a building, physical building. So you could say that building contains on-the-spot language school. That's a physical description. Your school is a physical space, but it's also a concept, a program, a system. So sometimes, Daiki, these are both true at the same time. This is not true at the same time. This is just containing rice. It doesn't include rice. But a recipe like pork katsudon, that's a dish.
Yep.
That's a ryori, that's a dish. That includes rice and pork. And it makes one new thing. Right? It doesn't, you could say it contains it because it's in a bowl. But the dish name describes something that it all works together and becomes something new. So includes would be a better word.
I see.
And what about, Paul, would you say also with food, like this food contains a lot of protein?
Yeah.
Right?
So deeper inside the food, at a molecular level, inside the chemicals, really tiny, yes, it contains protein.
Yeah.
And maybe let's say the meat, let's continue the example of pork katsudon. The pork is a piece of meat, and inside the meat at the molecular level is protein. That protein's not going out, right?
Yep.
So it is true it's included in the dish, but looking closer at its container, right? The protein is inside the pork only. It's not in the onion.
And what
Right.
about if you bought like this Happy Meal? What's usually included with a Happy Meal? A little? Maybe toy?
Toy.
A toy.
It comes it included with a toy. Would that make
Mhm.
sense, Paul?
Yeah, absolutely. Because the Happy Meal is an overall package. It's like a little system. It's not necessarily a container. The bag might be a container. If you go to McDonald's and get a bag with a Happy Meal, the bag contains all of this. But the idea of a Happy Meal is, you know, the burger, the drink, the fries, and the toy.
The toy
All
is
of that.
included.
The toys included.
Toy is included.
Yeah.
I see.
The bag contains them.
Now my water, I have a lot of lemon in my water. So what, Daiki?
The water, the water includes lemon.
Oh, good thinking, but no. So we would say maybe it's something like the water contains a lot of acidity.
Contain, yes. The water.
Acidity, right? Acid. It
Yep.
contains, because like Paul said, on the molecular level, right?
Yes.
Deep down inside the lemon, there's what?
Molecular.
Yeah, there's acidity, acidity, right?
Yes.
That's why when you squeeze a lemon, right? It burns your eyes, right?
Yes.
So it contains acidity.
Contains acidity.
And sometimes if you go to another country, a lot of water contains a lot of chemicals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chemicals.
Yeah. So don't drink. Well, I don't know. What do you think? Maybe water out west is better than water in Ontario.
The water here is pretty spectacular. You can drink beautiful mountain spring water out of your tap. It's very, very lightly treated to prevent bacteria, but otherwise it's spring water. It's pretty
I
amazing.
usually don't drink water in Toronto. The spring water in Vancouver, much better, coming from the beautiful Rocky Mountains. Yeah, I usually use a filter because the water
Includes, contains contains. sorry,
One more time.
The water contains a lot of chemicals.
Chemicals, but my water is filtered, so it doesn't contain any
yeah.
chemicals. But it does, because it has a lemon. It
Contains acidity.
nice. Yes. Oh, I miss you, Daiki. I love it.
And think about that water too. The acidity in the water, it's not going out of the water. It's in the water. The water is containing it. It's stuck.
In the
You
water.
can't leave it.
In there, right? Can you take protein out of meat?
No.
No, maybe unless you have like a plant-based burger or something.
Yeah, maybe
that might have protein, but yeah, you can't really. It's inside, right?
Yeah, inside.
Yeah. Nice.
Gentlemen, we're getting some interesting questions in the feed here. Shall we have a look at them?
Sure.
We have one from Mai Fujita, and maybe Daiki can offer his first explanation. Mai Fujita asks, I'm going to just change. Oh, here we go. Mai Fujita asks, why is there no preposition to, when we go grocery shopping or go surfing or go skiing, go for drinks and so on? What do you think, Daiki? In your experience, what do you think the difference feels like?
Actually, I always differentiate naturally, but I cannot explain because let's go.
Yeah. So go grocery shopping or go surfing or go skiing. Are these actions?
I think it's action.
Right.
Like
these are actions that you're doing, right? So do you think maybe that's why you go to the supermarket, you go to a location?
It's a place, location.
Yeah.
Right. That's also not true in terms of like I want to go home. But yeah, go. What would you say in terms of the first part? Go verb ing.
Go by.
Or verb ing. So the action verb, right?
Yep.
Like go
Shopping, surfing,
go shopping, go skiing.
Let's go skateboarding.
Yeah. Go skateboarding.
Why don't you say to?
If
right?
If I want to use to, maybe I should say like go to ski. Is it correct? No.
Go skiing.
Go skiing. Only go skiing. Oh. But I can say go drink and also go to drink. No. Let's go to drink at this bar.
It's an interesting question, and there's some natural spots of confusion. Shall we take a crack at it?
Absolutely, go for it. Let's see Paul's whiteboard. Maybe you can downsize us and make your whiteboard big.
Let's downsize the boys and expand the whiteboard.
Here we go. Let's shrink. Ready, Daiki? We're gonna shrink. 3, 2.
Oh.
Okay, guys, we're going to have to push one of you off screen.
Yeah, you can push me off. Keep Daiki on there.
No, you don't have to.
I'm going to hide you, Anish.
Oh.
There we go. So there's a little bit of overlap here that causes this confusion. When we make a sentence like this, I will go to.
Yep.
If I say right now after this show, I will go to the mall. Go to the mall. I'm going to a place, right? I'm going to a place. I'm going to a place. And the mall is a noun, right? The mall is a noun.
Yeah.
And the reason that's important is this is a preposition. And prepositions, all of them, have one job. Prepositions connect. This is really important to know. Prepositions connect nouns. That's all they do. They connect nouns to other stuff. For example, if I said to you, pen, book, they're both nouns. Hey, Daiki, pen, book. it has no meaning, right? It's nonsense. It's baby talk. But as soon as I connect them with a preposition like on, pen, on book, now an idea starts to appear. We see the relationship in space between these two nouns, pen, on book. Still not a very complex idea, but it is an idea. It's an idea. It's a relationship between two objects. So prepositions connect nouns. We have a noun here. We have a preposition.
Yep.
And the preposition to always works with another preposition that sometimes is kind of hiding, and that's from. You always move from one place to another. But of course, you know where I am right now. I'm in my show and I'm in my studio. So I don't need to tell you where I'm going from. Or if you're together with your friends, you know where you are. So it would be stupid to say, Daiki, after the show, I will go from my home studio to the mall.
Yeah.
You know where I am. You don't know where I'm going. So I need to emphasize that. So we don't add the from. But the to a noun always works with these kind of verbs. Verbs of movement. Whenever you go, you're moving from one place to another. Whenever you travel from to. Whenever you fly, you fly from to. So we always need to express this movement from one place to another. That's a noun. Okay?
Yep.
Now, if we change this to not the mall, but shopping. Now, shopping is what we call a gerund. It's the ing. But in this case, it's not really a place. I can't move from my home studio to shopping. And the reason is quite simple. Shopping is not a place. It's the name of an activity. You're expressing the name of the activity. It still has a bit of verb meaning in it. So you can't go to it. But if I want to do that activity, guess what? I can't do it here. I have to go.
Yep.
So this is actually, so we can't have that preposition because this is not really a noun. Remember, prepositions connect nouns. If we don't have a true noun here, we can't really connect it. This is not a noun, really. It's the name of the activity. So we can't go to it. We have to kind of go shopping. And now, without a preposition and without a true noun, this is actually acting more like an adverb, right?
Yeah.
Because it's telling us information about go. So, for example, if I just said to you, hey, Daiki, I will go.
Yep.
You probably have questions. Hey, Daiki, I will go.
Where?
You probably want to know where, right?
Yes.
I need an adverb to tell me where I'm going to do that action. I will go shopping. So it actually works more like an adverb. It's an adverb of location. Just like saying, I will go there.
Yeah.
Or I will go here. And sometimes you might hear, I will go home. In that example, home is not really a noun. It's an adverb. It's the direction you're going. So when this is acting like an adverb, of course, we don't use a preposition. Think about adverbs like quickly. I run quickly. You don't run too quickly. That'd be weird.
Yeah, sounds weird.
Now, you mentioned another variation of this. Sometimes we may say something like this. And sometimes we know where we're going. Like, I will go to the bar. I will go to my friend's house. That's a noun. But now you have something different. Now this isn't really a preposition plus noun phrase. This is an infinitive verb.
Oh.
Right? The to is no longer a preposition. It's part of the infinitive verb. And we often use infinitive verbs to give reasons. You, for example, I think, forgive me if I'm wrong, you came to Canada. Why? To study.
Study English.
So the infinitive verb tells us the reason. I came to Canada to study. Tonight I will go to my friend's house. Why? To drink. So I think we get confused because of this word. that has two jobs. One is a preposition to connect nouns, but they have to be nouns, especially with a verb like go, from, to. And it's also used with infinitive verbs. Because if you tell me I will go to drink, my next question is going to be where, right? So it's not really a complete idea. And if you say go drinking, maybe I still want to know where, right?
Yep.
So I don't know. Does that answer that question? Who asked it again?
Yeah.
Go. That was my.
Yes. But go for lunch, go for drinks. Why not go to lunch, go to drinks?
So where's my brush? I will go. Let's just complete the idea. I will go to the bar. Why? You have two ways to express reason in English. One is the infinitive verb. Infinitive verb tells us reasons, right? I came to Canada to study. I make a live show every week to help students. That's the reason. So infinitive verb expresses reason. There's one more way we can express reason with no verb, and that's using a preposition with noun. And the preposition of reason, I go to the bar. Why? For drink. Now, for is a preposition which connects nouns. So we need a noun. Drinks.
Drinks.
Now, drinks is one of those words. It can be a verb or a noun, but here we want to use it as a noun, right? For drinks.
Okay.
So if you use for, it's got to be a noun because that's a preposition. Prepositions connect nouns. This is often a problem with my students who speak Spanish as their first language. Because in Spanish, they're basically what they have like an infinitive verb. Instead of to plus verb, they have for plus verb. So when they're first learning their English, they might say things like, I will go to the bar for drink alcohol, or I will go to the store for buy shoes. But that's not how we express reason in English. You have two choices to express reason. Why are you going to the bar? If you want to communicate your reason, infinitive verb is a reason. For plus noun is a reason.
Okay. Just to make sure, drinks are countable noun, right? Drinks.
That's right, yeah.
But food is uncountable. We can go for, like, let's go to buy foods.
Shall we talk quickly about count and non-count nouns? Because it's a problem for a lot of students.
Yeah.
Let's have a quick review of that because I think this is useful. And I'll show you a kind of a simple way to understand this. Let's take a step back for a moment. When we try to define what a noun is, we usually hear this one. It's people, or it's places, or it's things. Now, that's a pretty simplistic way to look at a noun, but it has some truth. People, of course, in the world, we know there's single people and there's multiple people. There's three of us here on this show today. So quite clearly we can count people. There's one guy, there's two guys, there's three guys. Paul, Anish, and Daiki. So this is pretty clearly countable.
Yeah.
Right? There are, I think, 7 billion people on the planet, clearly countable.
Yeah.
And it fits our understanding of reality, right? You look around, you can see things, you can see objects, you can see people. They have physical presence. Places, similarly, we can go to different countries and we can see different countries. You can look at a map and see them. They're quite clearly, visually, in reality, we can see that they're countable. The problem in English is when we start talking about things, right? Sometimes we can count things like, quite clearly I have more than one pen. Physically, I can see that there's more than one. So if you tell me these are uncountable, that's crazy. I can see 3 of them right here, right? That's true for objects. Physical objects, right? Physical objects we can see, we can count them. But there's other things in English that are in this category. For example, abstract ideas we just talked about, like happiness, success, freedom, love, knowledge, intelligence. We can't see these things. We can see the result of them.
Yep.
When Nike's in love, we can see a big smile. We're looking at the smile. Maybe the smiles are countable, but love is an abstract idea, right? It's an idea. How do we count that? Maybe we can't. So an abstract idea, for example, we can't count. Now I'm going to show you something that'll make that clear. Also things like natural substances.
No, natural substances.
For example, water.
Yep.
Air. I can't see that there's more than one air in the sky. I see just endless air. There seems to be no limit, no border.
Exactly.
If I count something, it needs to have an edge where it stops and something else begins and separates them. I don't see separation of air. Now, if you do scuba diving and go under the water, you and I go together, you might have one air tank. I might have one air tank. The tanks are countable, but it's the tank that separates the air. If we didn't have a tank, the air is just everywhere. So natural substances are uncountable. But there's a lot of things that are uncountable that confuse people. For example, rice. So let me show you a clear, what I think is a clear test. I love tests. Let's test the idea. How do we know if it's countable or uncountable? Here's a real simple test. Take a noun and ask a question. Is it divisible? Divisible. Is it divisible? Able to divide. I'll demonstrate this. Able to divide. In other words, can I take that noun and separate it? And let's call this noun number one. And if I separate it, do I still have noun number one and noun number two? Sorry, and noun number one. Let me show you an example.
Yes.
I have a natural substance here, right? Water.
Water.
Let's test it. So water is a noun, clearly, but maybe you're not sure if it's countable or uncountable. Let's test it. Is it divisible into two of the same nouns? Let's divide it. I'll take some water in here.
Yep.
Some water in here. So now we've divided it.
Yes.
Right? You tell me, do I have water and water, or do I have water and something else?
The both of them are water.
It's still water.
Yep.
So this noun, water, is divisible. We can divide it, and we have noun number one plus noun number one still. It hasn't changed.
Yep.
Right? Let's try it one more way. So earlier I divided some rice. Let's do it again. This is my master bunch of rice. So I've divided it. So is rice countable or uncountable? We divided it into two bowls. Now the bowls are countable. They're physical objects, right? But tell me, do I have rice, or do I have rice and some other stuff?
No, rice and rice.
Rice and rice. So the same noun. Yeah, but teacher, can't you do that with everything? Let's test. Let me introduce you to someone else. We've had some special guests today. We've had Anish Dea from On the Spot Language. We've also had Daiki. I don't know your family name, Daiki, so to me you're just Daiki, which is fine.
Yeah, fast.
I'm going to introduce you to my favorite monster. My favorite monster is this guy.
Godzilla.
Gojira, right?
Yeah.
He's a monster. That's a noun.
Yes.
And let me show you my favorite hero.
Ultraman.
Ultraman. So when I grew up, I loved these characters from Japanese movies and TV shows. So I always imagined fights, right? The monsters have a big battle. But let's say, Gojira's usually pretty huge,
Yeah.
and Ultraman's kind of small, but he can grow. Let's say he's way bigger, and they have a fight, and guess what happens? Ultraman divides Gojira.
Oh,
He divides him, chops him.
yep.
And now that Gojira is divided, what do we have? We have
The parts of body.
do I have Gojira and Gojira? Or do I have something and two different nouns?
It's still Godzilla. Right.
Because now what I see is I see a tail and a head.
Yeah.
I don't see Gojira. This is not Gojira. If I walk down the street and see this, I don't go, oh my God, there's Gojira. I say, hey, dude, there's a tail.
Oh, so it's
Or
just
there's a head.
body.
These are body parts. Together they make Gojira. But if you divide them, it's not the same noun anymore. And in fact, there's even a third part, the body. In another example, just to test that, so Gojira is not uncountable. He's countable, right?
Yep.
Because if you divide it, it's not the same material. So here's another example. This is a flashlight,
Flashlight.
right? Let's divide it. Let's test it. So if I smash it up and open it into parts, what do I have? I have maybe the lens or the lamp. How about this? Is this still a flashlight?
No, it's battery.
It's a battery. And this, it's not a flashlight anymore because
Nothing inside.
nothing inside. It's a hollow tube. But a hollow tube plus batteries plus the lamp makes the flashlight. So this is not divisible. It's just not. So flashlight is countable.
Yeah.
Right? Flashlights, I have 3 flashlights. It's countable. If it's uncountable, it would pass this test. Now, Gojira is a proper noun. It's the guy's name, right? But monster is the noun we were testing. Can a monster be divided
Yes.
and have monster and monster? No. When we divided the monster, we had head and tail and body and so on. So that's a little test you can do, even in your imagination, if something's countable or uncountable. If it's countable, you can't divide it. When you divide it, you get 2 different things. If it's uncountable, like air or rice or water or information, when you divide it, you still have information and information. Here's an example every student knows. How about homework? Your teacher gives you all kinds of homework. Here, Daiki,
Yeah. Also,
do this tonight, right? Well, if you divide it, all this stuff here is homework.
Yes.
All this stuff here is homework. It's
Yeah.
all homework. So together, it's just homework. It's divisible, and you get homework. You don't get something and something. So that's a little test you can do to determine if it's something is count or not count noun, because there are a lot of little exceptions to it. The rule about count and not count nouns, uncount nouns, is kind of slippery.
Yeah, it's easy.
But that's a great question. We have another question here. And I'm going to bring Anish back, if he's still with us. Hi, Anish.
Oh, I've been like this the whole time. That was amazing. Thank you so much for the well thought out explanation of count and non-count. I mean, that's a whole lesson right there. So this is, I mean, if anyone's going to watch this later or even right now, you guys definitely got, like Vanessa said, thank you for this great class. And I know one of my, and thank you, Mai. Yeah, she just said, thank you, Teacher Paul, and on the spotter Daiki and Mr. OSL Anastea. There's another question from one of our other students, Paul.
Yep, Yuko.
Her name is Yuko, and she was also an on the spotter. And there you go. What's the difference between the use of just and only? I have just 5 minutes left. I have only 5 minutes left. Or I just have 5 Canadian friends. Or I only have 5 Canadian friends.
Oh.
Which do you use?
Well, I have many friends. No, yeah, I would say, I think possibly maybe in that case, maybe emphasis.
Yeah. Only is not.
I only have 5 friends, right? If I said, I just have 5 friends. I just have 5 friends. I don't think I would say that, Paul.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if someone asks me, it's like, Anish, you just have 5 friends? Why don't you have more friends? Maybe in that case, in a question, like, you only have 5 friends?
Mm-hmm.
You just have 5? Maybe in that case, they are interchangeable, but in answering, I wouldn't say, yes, I only have 5 friends. 1 minute.
Yeah. There seems to be a little bit of difference there in what's emphasized. And sometimes that's the only difference between two words. They may have the same meaning, the same grammar form, but they emphasize a little bit of emotional connotation, right? Just sounds like almost surprising. You just have 5 friends? I think if you really want to go to basics, only establishes a limit. There are only 3 people on this show. There's only 3. It's the limit at the moment.
Yes.
Right? And we often use just to express the limit. I only have 3 friends. I just have 3 friends. But in that case, I would say just is maybe informal speech. So for example, when I'm teaching my writing students, I make a point of saying, look, you should, if you're talking about number limits or measurement limits, you should use only in writing. And the reason is that word just, we also have an adjective meaning that we need. And it's related to justice, right? In the court or law system. When something happens that's good, justice, we would call it just. Or Anish is a good man. He believes in fairness. He's a just man. He's an adjective plus noun. He's a just man. So I think when you're writing, especially academic writing, you might want to keep that word in your pocket and use it for that adjective meaning. And if you're just going to talk about limits, use only. However, in speech, we use just for everything, I think. And a lot of it may just be poetics. It sounds better. It's easier to say, right? Sometimes when 2 words have a similar meaning, we might just use the one spoken that flows off our tongue smoother. That's a legitimate reason for things to get used. That's related to poetics, that it just sounds smoother. Some words in English, they just sound awkward. They sound, even for native speakers, they're just not smooth and beautiful. But Anish also pointed out another meaning of just, which is moments earlier. I just got here. Sorry, teacher.
I just got in from Japan and everything's new for me. Right, Taiki?
I just arrived.
The focus sentence.
Moments earlier.
Yeah.
So I can see the confusion because these words in speech every day, we interchange them a lot.
Yeah,
but
and I think go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just going to finish by saying,
yeah,
I think if you really are meaning a limited number or a limited measurement, really stick with only.
Yeah, and I think for Yuko, this is very helpful too, I think, Yuko, because she's learning academic writing and she's going to college right now, so she's using a lot of formal English in writing. But I know, like in our class, we always use I just got here 5 minutes ago, or I just got in from Japan and everything's new for me, or we use it a lot of in colloquial, everyday kind of conversation, like you were saying. So that's a really good distinction. That's
I would say for Yuko in her academic writing, really try to separate them, because
Hmm.
In writing, and I'm specialized in teaching writing. In writing, we want to use a variety of words. We want to avoid repetition in English. English is at its most beautiful when it's got a lot of variety. Long sentence, short sentence, middle sentence. Not, for example, beautiful Spanish writing consists of many long sentences. That's beautiful in Spanish, but in English, it's like, it's not beautiful English. Beautiful English is a variety, and that includes vocabulary. We want a variety of words. So I would use only for limited number and use just when you're talking about justice. That's a nice way to separate them. In speech, it's a very different matter. And this is what I really like about working with you, Anish, on a show like this, is our focuses in our teaching are quite different, but we kind of meet in the same middle, which is to help students.
Absolutely. And I think that's a kind of a good team, right, Deki? Anish and teacher Paul, he's really good at kind of explaining the deep grammatical point about it, and also many ways you can use it. And it's easier when he explains it, and it really makes sense.
Yeah.
And with us, I'm always trying to make as many examples and sentences as possible. So you're like, okay, what situation can I use this, Anish? Like, and it may be like Paul said for Yuko, like it's nice to have that word just. Like, for example, the rule of marijuana. It's legalized in Canada, right?
Yep.
Is this a just law?
It's just a law.
Is this a just law? So remember earlier, in terms of justice, is this kind of a fair law? Is this kind of a good, fair law, or it's not a fair law?
So it's a fair law.
So do you think this is a just law?
No, it's not just a law.
No, not just a law, but a just law.
Just yeah.
Does that make sense,
Is it
Paul?
fair, right?
Can a law be just or not just? Is that what you were saying earlier?
Yeah, we kind of hope a law is fair, right?
Right.
And if it is, we can call it a just law. Not just a law, not only a law, but a just law. It's full of justice, right? It has a lot of justice. It's a fair law. Or maybe the judge makes a decision and it seems fair, right? That maybe there was an accident. The person didn't really mean to hurt the other person. It was an accident, but they have to be punished a little bit. So maybe they get a $500 fine. They don't go to jail for 20 years. They get a $500 fine because their intention wasn't evil. So that's a just decision.
Or a just sentence.
Yeah.
Not sentence, but the judge gave a sentence, which means the rule. He said the rule. You have to go to jail for 20 years, right? So, for example, the other weekend, I went to Wasaga Beach.
Okay.
And I wanted to see the beach. If it's too crazy, then I don't want to go because COVID-19 and many people on the beach and right? But then I just quickly parked somewhere and then went to check the beach, and I came back and there was a parking ticket.
Was it just?
Now, the ticket was $55.
Really?
But I was just gone for 5 minutes. Come on.
It's crazy.
But then I saw the parking ticket person, the parking attendant. And I said, hey, dude, I'm really sorry. I was just checking out the beach. I wanted to watch the sunset. And, I don't know what to do. I don't have $55. COVID-19. I'm broke. He goes, you know what? Send an email to Wasaga Beach Municipal Government, and they might be able to reduce the fee.
Oh.
I said, really? You can reduce the fee? So I sent them an email, explained my situation, and they reduced it to $10.
or $10.
Was that a just decision? Or was that kind of unfair for me? Or was that fair? Or
Oh,
do you think Anna should have paid $55?
I don't think you have to pay $55 just for 5
So
minutes.
maybe it was a just decision. Was it a just decision?
I think so.
Yeah, I think it was a just decision too. I mean, a good, fair
Yeah.
decision. What do you think? Was it? I don't know, Paul.
Hard to say. I can tell you that you don't think it's a happy decision.
That happens.
Whether it's just or not, I'll leave it to the Canadian judge.
And sometimes there's another way to like just person, just cause.
Yeah, exactly.
So do you think the United Nations, or maybe some environmentalists, some people who care about, the environment, or maybe, a lot of people, especially now with the Black Lives Matter, right? Is that a just cause? I mean, is that a good reason? Is that a fair reason to do something? Is it a fair cause?
Yeah, I think so. It's a fair cause.
So it's a just cause.
Just a cause.
It's a just cause.
Just cause.
One more time. It's a
just cause.
Do you know any other good other just causes out there, Paul?
Well, I definitely, myself, I support all the causes that are fighting for racial equality.
Love it.
As I said before, I love multiculturalism, so racial equality is absolutely included in my love for multiculturalism.
Nice.
But environmental issues as well. I think if we don't have a good planet to share, multiculturalism is pointless. I have a question here from Yuko, and this might be a good segue to wrap things up. Now, Yuko is asking about would and could, but I think instead of answering here today, I wonder if we can answer her in the next episode, because I'd like Yuko to do some homework. I'd like Yuko to watch 2 of my videos. They might explain this. So Yuko, if you're watching, first of all, I'm going to ask Daiki to. I'm going to move Daiki off the screen. Sorry, Daiki.
No problem.
Hi, Daiki.
Bye, Daiki.
All right, thank
Thank
you.
you very much.
You're
I'll bring
awesome,
you back in a
buddy.
minute.
Thank you.
So Yuko, I make a video series called English Weirdness.
Nice.
And I make this series myself, and everyone else involved is a student. So students make it, students appear in it with me. We use little dramas that we actually have a script for, so it's not real talk, it's a script, but it's designed to explain what can happen when we use English in the incorrect or inaccurate way. Our communication can be flawed. And then we explain the right way to do it with animation and discussion. This episode is about the difference between could and be able to. A lot of students make this error. They'll say things like, I'm happy I could join your show. Or last week, I could pass my test. But there's a problem with that. If you say I could pass my test, I don't know if you did or didn't. So I suggest you watch this video because it'll explain could very well. And if you still have questions, come back to a live show and we'll talk about it, and we'll break it down on the board. And there's one more video. And by the way, I'll show you how to find these.
Our blue reflect blue light lenses. The majority of light is filtered.
So this one is about how to use conditional sentences, the 4 basic conditionals, and what their differences are. And importantly, Yuko, would is a part of all conditionals. And every way we use would, even for requests like, would you mind closing the door? Even a polite request like that is based in conditional meaning. So if you watch this video, hopefully that will explain something more for you. Now, I'm going to do one more thing for everyone here. before we leave, bear with me one moment, guys. So all of these videos, the English Weirdness series, and this live show, hopefully both Anish and I will be able to share this live video, recorded video later on our YouTube channels. My YouTube channel is called Hardboiled English. My channel is called Hardboiled English. You may already know Anish is called On the Spot Language. And you can find all my English Weirdness videos there. Hardboiled English with Teacher Paul. And On the Spot Language. So Yuko, I'd really be happy if you did a little homework. I know you're busy with school, but if you could do a little homework, watch those videos whenever you want. They're not just boring videos, I hope. We try to make them entertaining as well, but based in explaining things and analyzing language so that you can understand it better and make choices. Language is about making choices, choosing when you use would or could and when you don't. Anish, we're kind of running out of time, so I'd like to wrap things up. Do you have any last things to say to our viewers?
I would say, number one, please come back every week. Are you running your shows every week?
Yeah, let's. The next show will be next Thursday, September 24th at 4 p.m. I know that's a bit earlier for you, Anish. We could talk about doing another show down the road, but I'm going to be doing these every Thursday for the foreseeable future. The date might change and the time might change. We're just starting out with this, so we're trying to find that sweet spot for time so that our international viewers can join.
Yeah, for all of our students in Japan, that would be like, what, 5 a.m.?
Too early.
A little early, but for our folks in Toronto, that's about 7 p.m. So Yuko and Daiki, who are still here, I hope you guys can definitely join, and hopefully more students in Toronto. I mean, you're getting a free grammar lesson and class with an amazing and really experienced teacher who, you know, is explaining things in such an easy to understand way. And one of the great things about this format, it's not just, let me teach this, let me teach this. He's working with you to answer your questions. And if you have any follow-up questions, and, you know, of course we can't get to everything, but use the videos as review. Go back, watch this again. Remember some of the sentences, write down some of the sentences that you learned and use them as review. So that's really what's really great about this. And we're very inclusive. Paul's very inclusive to everyone, so he's welcoming everyone, and you can ask your questions. So thank you, Yuko and Mai, and of course our Beatles #1 fan, Beatles fan, Daiki, for joining us and asking his question. And you know, it's, for me, the only thing I would leave students with is, you know, no, he's back. Here he is. And thank you for making time, Daiki, to do this as well.
For inviting. It was really good time.
Yeah, I know a lot of students are kind of, embarrassed. I don't want to be on camera. I don't want to be live. But, you know, you're an on-the-spot language student, so I'm really happy that you could show your confidence by doing something like this. And even Mai and Yuko for just having the confidence to ask a question. Yeah. Thank you for doing that.
Questions.
Yeah.
Without questions, I'm not a teacher.
There you go.
And by the way, Anish, Yuko is asking a very important question here to finish up. She's asking, can she see this video again? The answer, Yuko, is yes. Once this video is processed, we'll make sure Anish has it, and he can put it on his YouTube channel, and it'll be on my YouTube channel. And again, both of our YouTube channels are up in the corner, Hardboiled English with Teacher Paul and On the Spot Language. So this video will be there. You can review it, share it with your friends, whatever you'd like to do.
Absolutely. And I guess any advice that I would leave for students is just continue to be curious, and if you don't know, ask, because you'll never know if you don't ask.
Right.
So even if you're on the street and you're lost, just ask, because sometimes a stranger is just a friend you haven't met yet.
That's lovely.
And maybe, Daiki, maybe you could leave us with one of your favorite quotes that you've learned a lot in our program, that you had to learn and share and use with other people. What's a quote that you like?
Of course, maybe I should choose from the Beatles songs. Okay. One of my favorite lyrics from the Beatles is from the song which is called The End. And the lyrics is, and in the end, the love you take is equal to the love you make. That's my favorite line.
Can you say that one more time, Daiki?
And in the end, the love you take is equal to the love you make.
Nice. So in the end, the love you take
Yes, the love you
is
take,
equal to the love you
make.
make, or kind of give.
Yeah,
The
give.
lyrics is make, but maybe the meaning is give.
Yeah.
In this song, I'm not sure. Which song is this from?
It's from the end.
Oh, The End. It's called The End.
Yes, from Abbey Road.
Abbey Road. And in the end, the love you take is equal to the love you make, by Daiki. I mean, who
By
wrote
Paul.
the lyrics of that song?
Sorry?
Who wrote the lyrics to that song?
Paul McCartney.
Paul McCartney. Nice. Do you have a favorite quote, Paul, that you like?
I'll have to think about that. I have a lot. I'm not sure what my favorite one is, but it's a great way to wrap things up, actually. We should make a habit of that.
Cool. Awesome.
But thank you, gentlemen, for joining me on this show. This is new territory for me. That began when I became locked out of my school. So I'm really happy that we could get together and do this. Daiki, thank you for joining us.
Thank you very
It's great
much.
to have a student with us to give us student perspective, a language learner's perspective. Both Anish and myself have learned other languages, but we are essentially instructors or coaches or teachers. So it's great to have your perspective. I really appreciate you being here. And Anish, thank you very, very much for your new friendship, one. And two, thank you very much for joining me on the show. And I hope we can do this again very, very soon. Maybe we can make it a regular thing if your time permits you.
楽しかった。本当だ。It was a really good time. I had a really good time. And, if it's once a month or every other week or something, we can make it, something. But regardless of that, anyone, please come on to Paul's channel and watch this and ask more questions. This is brilliant. Such a great opportunity. I'm sure Daiki and Yuko and Mai will be back.
Yeah, I hope so. I'd love to hear more. I'd like to spend more time, especially with the questions we didn't get to. I'd like to come back to them. So I'm going to make this record available and, make sure we can address them in the future if they join us.
And share it with your friends. If you have other friends, Daiki or Yuko or Mai, that are in Toronto, you can share it with them.
Yeah,
and,
I want
to subscribe and hit that like button, as people say.
Hit that like button. Subscribe to these channels. They're both very rich with videos and lots of information.
Absolutely.
And for my viewers and learners on the West Coast or abroad, if you're thinking of returning to Canada at some point, or if you're thinking about leaving West Coast and going east, I highly recommend you go and join the on-the-spot language program and participate in some of the experiences Daiki's had with tremendous language coach Anish Dea. I thank you both for being on the show today, guys. And with that, we're going to wrap it up. Say goodbye until next Thursday here on Hardboiled English Live.